You know, it's a tricky one. When does a label from the past stop mattering in the present? Like, say, teacher and student. We're going to dive into a real-life story that tackles this head-on, all starting from a question someone asked a full decade after they graduated.
Right there. That's the question at the heart of all this. And honestly, this kind of situation pops up more than you think. It really makes you wonder, where's the line? But to even begin to answer that, we've got to go back, way back. All right, let's hit rewind. We're going back 10 years, setting the scene in those high school hallways. This is where it all began.
Okay, so the context here is everything. You've got him, a senior in high school, but, and this is important, he's 18. He's legally an adult. And then you have her, 23 years old, fresh out of college, in her very first year of teaching. Now, that 5-year gap, in high school, that feels like a massive chasm, right? But as we're about to see, time has a funny way of changing perspectives. So according to him, he had this huge crush on her. But here's the thing, it was all in his head. He was way too shy to say anything to anybody, let alone to her. He never acted on it. It was just your classic, totally one-sided, secret high school crush.
And he is crystal clear on this point. He says, quote, "Nothing inappropriate ever happened. No winks, no extra help, no special treatment. That line between teacher and student, it was never, ever blurred." And you have to remember that detail because it's absolutely critical for what comes next.
Okay, let's hit fast forward. We're jumping to today. 10 years have gone by with zero contact, and then one random chance meeting is about to shake everything up and bring that old high school crush roaring back to life.
A full decade. Let that sink in. We're not talking about a year or two after graduation. This is an entire 10 years. Think about how much you change in your 20s. It's a lifetime of growth. And this is where things get really interesting. He's not a kid anymore. He's a 28-year-old man. And she's not the brand new teacher on the block. She's a 33-year-old woman. The whole dynamic is shifted. The scales have totally balanced out. They're peers now.
So how did this all happen? Well, it's a pretty modern story. First, they just randomly bumped into each other. They had a nice chat, caught up a bit. Then came the inevitable, let's be friends on social media. And that's when he saw it, she's single. All of a sudden, that crush from 10 years ago isn't just a memory. It feels possible.
So you take the history, you add the decade that's passed, you throw in this chance meeting, and it all boils down to one big central question, the real problem he's trying to figure out.
So he's not that shy kid anymore, but he's still got this hesitation, right? He's wondering, is their past a deal breaker? Is that old teacher-student dynamic just too big of a hurdle to overcome even after all this time? Is it just wrong to even think about it?
All right, so let's get into it. Let's break down the arguments. Is this okay, or is it still kind of weird and inappropriate? We're going to look at this from both angles, the reasons it might be totally fine, and the reasons some people might still have a problem with it.
Okay, let's look at the okay column first. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? They're both consenting adults, a whole decade has gone by, he was 18, so legally an adult even back then, and the big one, nothing sketchy ever happened. The case seems pretty strong. But then you look at the other side. The inappropriate argument isn't really about what's legal. It's about the feel of the thing. There was a power dynamic, that's a fact. And even though it was ages ago, for a lot of people, that label, that memory of teacher and student, it casts a long shadow. It's hard to shake.
But maybe looking for a simple yes or no answer is missing the point. What this whole situation really shows us is something deeper. This tension between who we used to be and who we've become. When you boil it all down, that's what we're looking at. It's the past bumping up against the present. It's this old, very defined social role, teacher, student, clashing with a brand new personal connection that's trying to grow between two people who are now equals.
And really, this whole thing leaves us with a much bigger question, one that goes way beyond just this one story. How long does a label from the past get to define a relationship in the present? Whether it's a teacher or an old boss or a mentor, at what point does that title just fade into the background and allow two people to just be two people? There's no easy answer here, is there? But it's definitely something worth thinking about.